Hello year one. For today's English lesson, you are going to be making speech bubbles where you'll be writing the things like the different characters in your story will be saying. So for this lesson, you will need your story map, some paper, 3 sheets of paper, a pencil, a rubber, a ruler to draw lines on in your speech bubbles, and scissors to cut out your speech bubbles. The first thing we need to do is make the speech bubbles. So this is one that I've already made, and I'm now going to show you how to make your own. You need to get 1 piece of paper, and to make it this size, I have split my piece of paper in half. So I've made my A4 paper into an A5 paper. So the way I've done that is I've folded it like this, and you fold it corner to corner so that it's perfectly in half. And then you take your finger and you gently push it down, and then pinch, pinch. You might need an adult to help you with this, or you can try it on your own. I also flip it this way, and I use my nails to pinch it really tight. You can either tear your paper in half, like that. So you have to really hold on to that side and you pull it, but that's quite tricky. So then you can get a pair of scissors and you cut along the line, cut along the fold, sorry, that you've just made. So now 1 piece of paper has turned into 2 that are the same size. So I'm going to put one of them aside, and I'm going to use this one. I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to draw the speech bubble shape. I'm going to do it in pencil first, and then I'll do it in a darker color pen so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to do it in pencil first, because if I make a mistake, then I can rub it out. So I'm going to draw a triangle in the corner here, because that triangle becomes this shape here. So I'm going to draw a triangle, and then I'm going to draw the big bubble bit, and I want it to take over the whole piece of paper. So I'm kind of going to go like this. It's not a circle, it's like an oval shape. Okay, I know it's hard for you to see, so now I'm going to get a pen and I'm going to go over it so you can see the shape that I've drawn. So we start off with the triangle. So I'm going to put a paper underneath so I don't get black onto my table. Okay, so you draw the triangle and then a big round shape that takes over the entire piece of paper. Because if it's too small, we won't be able to squish in our writing. There we go. It's a little bit wobbly, but that will do. So that is the speech bubble shape. The next step is to get your scissors and cut out your speech bubble. So I'm going to cut along the lines really carefully. I would like you all to try to cut it on your own, because cutting is a really important skill that you need to learn. So it's okay if you find it hard, and it's okay if you can't cut along the lines. You need to try your best. So cut along the lines. There we go. Don't need this bit, so I'm going to scrumple it up and I'm going to put it in my recycling bin. So now I have a speech bubble. I want you to do this 2 more times so that you'll have 3. Right now I've got 2. So I'm going to make 1 more speech bubble. So now I have 3 speech bubbles. 1, 2, 3. The next step is to figure out what I want my characters to say. So what I want to write in my speech bubbles. So I'm going to put these aside and I'm going to get my story map. Right now, I'm just going to look at the first page of my story map. And I want to find the bit where I want a character to say something. So I'm going to read my story map and I'm going to stop where I think a character should say something. And then when I've figured out where I want my character to say something, I'm going to get a speech bubble and I will show you how to write that speech in the speech bubble. In the morning, Malala is shy. She plays with her Lego, paints pictures, and listens to music. Malala, such a shy little thing, say all the grown-ups. But they don't know that when it's lunchtime, Malala is a superhero. One afternoon, Malala receives an urgent text message from the Prime Minister. Oh, she receives a message from the Prime Minister. I think I want to put some speech in here. I want the Prime Minister to say something. So I'm going to get my speech bubble and I'm going to think, what does the Prime Minister say to Malala? I think I want the Prime Minister to say to her, Malala, you must come quick. We have an emergency and only you can save us, or only you can help us. That's a long bit of speech, but we've got a really big piece of paper. So we're going to fit all of that speech into the speech bubble. I'm going to get a ruler so I can really neatly draw some lines so that our writing isn't all wobbly. So I'm going to draw some really light lines because after I might want to rub them out. So draw some lines. And the Prime Minister is going to say, Malala, come quick. I'm going to put a piece of paper underneath because I'm using a Sharpie and I don't want the ink to get on my table. So the Prime Minister in my story is going to say, Malala, come quick. Malala, exclamation mark, because he's saying it really excitedly and he's saying it quite loudly. Malala, come quick. Come, capital C, and come is a red word. Come quick. Qu, I, and it's a special friend k. Come quick, and another exclamation mark. And he's going to say to her, we have an emergency. Capital W, we have is a red word. Have an emergency. That's a really tricky word. Emergency. We have an emergency. Then I think he's also going to say, only you can help. Only you can solve it. Only you can, maybe only you can save us. Only you can save us. So this is my speech. This is what my Prime Minister, and I have it coming out of his mouth, that is what the Prime Minister is saying to Malala. So we'll put that aside, that's one done. Now we're going to carry on reading the story, try to see where else we can include some speech. A giant wedge of cheese is hurtling towards London. Malala sets off for a farm in Kent to find her heat ray that is hidden in an old barn. The only way to get there before the cheese strikes is by supersonic scooter. Luckily, Malala is a skilled scooter rider. She squeezes the brakes and the scooter comes to a stop. Screech! Malala scrambles out of the scooter, across the farm, and into the old barn. She aims a heat ray at the wedge of cheese, closes her eyes, and waits. She fires. Zing! Malala saves London from destruction. Woohoo! Ah, I think I want Malala to say something here. So she saves London from destruction, and then she says something, probably just to herself because she's on her own. So I'm going to get another speech bubble that I've made. I'm going to draw lines on it just like last time to keep my writing neat. And I'm going to think, what might Malala say after she has just saved the city from destruction? I think she's going to say, yes, I did it. Or thank goodness that worked. Maybe, yes, thank goodness that worked. So she's going to say, yes, with a little fist bump. Yes, thank goodness, capital T. Thank goodness that worked. Thank goodness that worked. That is what Malala has said. So this speech bubble would come out of Malala in this part of my story. Now we've got one more to do. Let's go back to our story map to figure out the next bit. Who might say something next? So we've just read this sentence. The Queen gives Malala a lifetime supply of Lego for her courage and ingenuity. I think the Queen, she's a different character in my story. I think she's going to say something. So I'm going to get a speech bubble. This time I'm going to write it this way. I'm going to flip it over. The other ones we've been doing it this way. I'm going to flip it over for no reason, just because I want to change it up a bit. So, I know it's hard for you to see white on white. I'm going to draw some lines. And the Queen, what might she say to Malala? Malala has just saved the city from destruction, and the Queen is really happy because she didn't want London to be destroyed. So maybe the Queen might say, oh, Malala, the whole royal family thanks you for saving our city. I think that's what the Queen's going to say. Oh, Malala. Oh, Malala. The whole royal family thanks you for saving everybody, or for saving the whole country, or for saving all of London. Maybe that one, for saving all of London. Full stop at the end. Oh, Malala, the whole royal family thanks you for saving all of London. So this speech is coming out of the Queen. Okay, so that is your task today. You are making 3 speech bubbles for the different characters in your story, and you're thinking about what they might say in different scenes of your superhero story.